in the Trough of Bowland. Hey, Lancashire. Oh, I've had my jabs. And we were going to have a brew at Puddle Duck's Tea Rooms, but they're shut on a Tuesday. So we're not having a brew at Puddle Duck's Tea Rooms. So I think we're going to go to that there old Citroen van cafe thing at Scorton, no less. Watch out, Lancashire, the tykes are here. There we go, out and about on the old Moto Guzzi V7. Another beautiful early spring day. Let me tell you, the road surfaces are absolutely atrocious. As they are everywhere, and as they are in my neck of the woods, where the council have just put council tax up. I just got the bill other day, 10%. Up to 4 times the rate of inflation, thereabouts. I don't know what they're spending it on. But I'll tell you this much, it's not the roads. Because they are in a disgusting and dangerous state, and particularly dangerous for us motorcyclists. But of course I've come to the conclusion that in the eyes of the authorities, certainly the local authorities, that bikers are of no consequence. I don't think they're particularly interested in our safety. I think it's well down the list. So yeah, I mean, Bradford Council covers Keighley, Ilkley and Bingley, and there's a school of thought that says it shouldn't. It should be its own unitary authority, which I'm inclined to agree with. And there was a freedom of information request, I think, from some MP or other recently, asking how much had been spent in Bradford West and Bradford East compared with Bradford North, which is Bingley, Keighley and Ilkley. And there's a huge disparity because the West and the East constituencies, look at that down there, have been allocated a load more money than the North for no obvious reason. But any road up across the piece, to have your council tax go up 10% and still have roads that are in completely dangerous shit order, regardless of all these promises that we keep hearing about, oh, we've allocated this amount of money for roads and this amount of money for potholes and all the rest of it, ain't seen no sign of it. Absolute disgrace. Of course, vehicle tax now doesn't go towards maintaining the roads, certainly not directly, as it used to do when it was called the Road Fund Licence many, many years ago. But we're just getting ripped off left, right and centre, aren't we? Bloody hell. Water bills. Some people are seeing a 50% increase in the water bills. Average increase across the country, 20 to 30%. Yeah. Energy bills back up. Honestly. Anyway, I suppose fuel is in a trough rather than on a peak at the moment. And how long it'll be before that changes will depend on global events. But great to get out here and get away from the news. I mean, I try and avoid the news these days, but sometimes you can't avoid it. And sometimes it's so bad is the news, and it gets to be such a thing of concern and anxiety that you find yourself actually checking up on the news when you otherwise wouldn't, just to see if it's got any better, if it's improved slightly, and it never has. It's always got worse. I've never known anything like it. In all my 6 decades on this planet, I've just never known anything like it at all. Look at that, it's majestic, isn't it? Yeah. I have a lot of viewers and subscribers from the States and from Australia, and and 1 or 2 from New Zealand, and I've nurtured an ambition to go visit those countries while I still can. I've always wanted to go visit the United States. I've wanted to see Yosemite and 1 or 2 other places. But don't take this the wrong way, my American friends, but I daren't travel to your beautiful country at the moment. I'm not going to get into the politics of it all, because I'm not an American citizen, I'm a British citizen, so as I see it, I'm really only entitled to bellyache about things that do or don't happen here. Over in the States, you know, you elect your government, don't you, and that's it, that's a matter for you. It's not for me to comment upon. But all I will say is there's some recent events that just mean that I would not risk travelling there, much as I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to. Wonderful place, wonderful people. But some things have happened lately in relation to European travellers there that are very, very concerning indeed. And you know, you hear about people being put in detention for days on end because of you know, just a slight anomaly in some paperwork. Gives me the jitters, that, which is a shame, but yeah. I'd have to change significantly before I'd even entertain the prospect. But out and about on a Moto Guzzi in this beautiful countryside, even though it is Lancashire, we'll forgive it. Hey. So, rode the brand new Royal Enfield Classic 650 home yesterday, as you might have seen. Beautiful bike, that. Can't stop admiring it. Oh, these roads, jeez. It's absolutely bloody scandalous. Oh, it's a broken country, innit? Nothing works. You know, I don't know if the camera's picking it up properly, but it's bad. I know country roads, little country roads, you know, sometimes you expect to be a little bit nudgery, don't you? But this is supposed to be a tarmac finish. I think what you would call in the States, you call it pavement, don't you? Over here, a pavement's a sidewalk. But it's just bloody shocking. The Aire Valley Trunk Road, where I live, the bypass, the Bingley bypass, there are long stretches of that, miles of it. Bear in mind that's a 70 miles an hour road for the most part. The bit that goes past Bingley is 50, but then it's 70 miles an hour all the way up to Skipton, and it's just so rutted that you got to be proper careful doing it on a motorcycle. You know, it's a 4-lane dual carriageway, major route, and it's just in a shocking state. You know, you find yourself pushing on 60, 70 mile an hour, and next thing, your bike's like it's in tram tracks. You know, and it's throwing you about. It really is, you know, absolutely disgraceful. Yeah, I don't know where all the money's going. 10% increase anyway for Bradford Metropolitan District. And of course, you know, City of Culture 2025, isn't it? Bradford. And they've got all of these grandiose events associated with that. But can't get the basics right. This area, of course, is Lancashire. It's nothing to do with Bradford Council. Just drawing a comparison. Of course, the thing about Bradford City of Culture and all of that, of course, everything will be defended on the basis that it generates income for the city. But I'll bet you anything, not one penny of that income, if income it be, is going to get spent on improving the roads. And that's it, of course. I mean, the condition of the roads always stands to impact us as motorcyclists disproportionately. I mean, car drivers, it is also an issue, but a pothole for a car driver, worst case scenario, might mean bust suspension, whereas for a motorcyclist it might mean death. But you know, the needs of motorcyclists, I mean, motorcycling is, I suppose, on a comparative basis, relatively niche. But we're all tax-paying road users, aren't we? Except pedal cyclists, of course, don't pay a blind penny. But as motorcyclists, we are tax-paying and insurance-paying road users. So I think we're entitled to expect a degree of consideration from the relevant authorities. And we're just so often overlooked. There's another example of this again on the Aire Valley Trunk Road. As you come past Bingley, you come to a little place called Cross Flats. There's a roundabout at Cross Flats, and they've put new strips, you know, the yellow raised strips on the road on the approach to roundabouts. Now the ones that are on every other roundabout, the original ones, are manageable on a motorcycle, but they put these here new ones down. And I tell you what, it don't matter how much you slow down, it absolutely knocks your bloody fillings out. They're ridiculous. I sometimes wonder if they're not going to be happy until all traffic on the road is doing less than 10 miles an hour. Which sort of comes back to this old argument that I've challenged repeatedly on this channel, where they talk about speed and the need to clamp down on it in the interests of road safety. But there comes a point where it becomes disproportionate. And that example there in the lead up to that roundabout, that's a classic example of a completely disproportionate response to what's perceived to be a problem that probably in all actuality is not a problem. I'm not aware of any empirical basis for it at all. But it's just dangerous because you know, obviously you might be perfectly legally doing whatever speed it is you're doing. You don't have to be exceeding the speed limit, and you'll start to ease off on the approach to the roundabout, thinking that these here yellow strips are the same as the yellow strips on the approach to any other roundabout, and they're not. They're 2-3 times bigger, and you hit them, and bloody hell, I'm telling you, they can nearly throw you off. Yeah, there's a You know, as a society we tolerate certain things, don't we? If it was an absolutist argument that were being put forward for a lot of these speed control measures, jeez. Believe me, I'm not hamming it up, I promise. If it were an absolutist position, then you might as well say, well, restrict all traffic to 10 mile an hour, because then far fewer people would get hurt, there'd be far fewer casualties, and that is true. But we accept as a society, don't we, that certain levels are acceptable just to keep the world turning round, and it's about where you set the threshold, and some of the thresholds are set way too low. Some of the measures that are put in place, some of the speed cameras that are put in place where they really don't need to be. Tell you what, I don't think they need speed cameras around here, because it's just absolutely impossible to do more than about 30 mile an hour on these roads which are 60 limit. If you try to do 60 on here, you'd come off. It's as simple as that. Oh, right. Cup of tea and a bit of banana cake at Scorton. And now we're going to take a ride up to the Jubilee Tower and see if we can see the coast, or possibly even the Isle of Man. Ooh. Oh, steady lad. Hey, and safe, nicely recovered. Now you see what Andy did there, and that's what I did with Norman when I dropped him. You know what it's like though, if you just get on a bit of camber and just don't get it quite right, don't take much, does it? There we are, Jubilee Tower. Yeah. Okay. Good view of the coast.
You can see it, North Wales. Distance.
North Wales.
North Wales.
Wow.
It's on Fleetwood Station. It's the nuclear power station. All the wind farms out in the distance. That's towards Isle. You can just see Isle.
Isle. I can see a wind farm.
Yeah. Just to the right of the wind farm, you can just see a bit of
Oh yeah.
land silhouette. It's not really clear out there. It's more blacklist and open.
Right, so from a very windy Lancashire, beautiful though it is, and it pains me as a Yorkshireman to say it is stunning. There we go. Bound to get lost now, he's waved me on. Hey! Yeah, from the heart of Lancashire. Thank you for coming along for the ride. If you did enjoy this content, please would you consider subscribing if you haven't already. It makes a massive difference to me. Really does help me. All my content is free to view at any time, any of it at any time. And all I would really ask is please, if you would subscribe, just click that icon and subscribe and it's done. That's it, dead simple. But yeah, I really would appreciate it. Thank you. So I'm just gonna let the beautiful scenery play out in front of us now, and wish you safe riding, and yeah, until the next time, I'll see you.